I never thought about him being in jail anyway. When I thought about him, which I did a lot this year because I binge watched this whole show along with 100 other shows. Well, we couldn't leave our apartments. And I thought about the episode where they buried the fish. You know, the one where the pet fish died and the whole family dressed up and had a fish funeral. Said words of the fish like it was a puppy or some real pet, and not just a fish they brought home in a plastic bag and dumped in a fish bowl. No, the episode ends funny, but before it gets funny, they're sad for the fish, or for each other for losing the fish. Oh, all that sex stuff came out later. Made me feel bad. I just can't believe it, even though so many girls complained. He was our daddy. Oh, I wanted him to be my doctor and also my daddy. Even though I know he couldn't be my daddy because he's black. Maybe he could have adopted me. I was probably too old, and I don't know if they let black people adopt white babies back then. They probably do now because we have more fairness now, or we're supposed to have more fairness. Most days it doesn't seem fair. I guess you already know that, but at least I could go to a black doctor now. Maybe I could have gone before. I just didn't because I wasn't woken up, and now I'm woken up and I can go to a black doctor. I just haven't yet, but there's a lot of things I haven't done yet, but I want to do. But I thought Saturday, if you could, I mean, maybe we might. Oh, gee. See, I used to be different. Not how, like, you know me, the person you're the neighbor of. I had to have a awakening to get woken up. Half my mind was asleep, even during the day. I had to have this whole personal thing happen to me to wake up the sleeping side. See, there was this other lady who used to live in your apartment. It was way back, the policeman's trial and the LA riots and my own personal thing, which I never told you about because I didn't know you enough. But now, well, it explains things. The lady, the one who used to live in your apartment, she was some big writer, even though I never heard of her. And she was spending her, what do you call it, vacation year teaching at the university, which doesn't seem like much of a vacation to me because her real work was also teaching at a university somewhere else. And we became friends, no, I was her friend. She wasn't really my friend. To her, I was just an example, a bad example of a non-woken up person. But they didn't call it that yet. They called it ignorant, which is nicer than stupid, but not by much. And I met her at the grocery store before I even knew she was my balcony neighbor. She never came out on the balcony because she said I made it smoky with my cigarettes. That was before I quit. The produce guy pointed her out and told me she was famous. So when I meet up with her in one of the aisles, I say, "Aren't you so-and-so, the writer?" Like I read her books, even though I didn't. I guess I was lonely. It was just me and my aunt, and the writer, she was more my age, so I tried to strike up a friendly conversation. I say, "I think writers are interesting." She says, "That's because writers make writers the most interesting characters in their novels." So I say, "Is she working on a novel?" Nope, nonfiction, same topic as the last 3 books. Well, I didn't know what to say to that, so I changed the subject. Asked her how she likes living here. She doesn't answer. She asks me how I like it here. It's one of those writer's tricks to get me talking. And they work. I go off about work. Recycle had just started. And new rules, put all your used up paper in this bin. So I toss in my Post-its, and the next thing I know, they're back on my desk with a note that says, do not recycle gum material. And job evaluations are coming up. Can you imagine what my job evaluation will look like? I put gum material in recycle. And that's when I tell her about Alvin. He was my unit partner, and we were up for the same promotion. And I say how Alvin has affirmative action on his side. Well, now I know I had it too because of the woman thing, but I didn't know it then. And then I said this thing. People are screaming racism the way they used to scream communism. I heard that on TV. I don't watch that channel anymore, but I said it to her, the writer. She didn't say anything. If she said something, maybe I would have woken up sooner. Maybe not. She didn't say anything. She just looks at me like she's seeing me for the first time, and a minute later, she's buying me Starbucks, getting me to talk about stuff, all my thoughts from the asleep side of my brain. And the whole time, she's looking in my face and she's nodding, so I think she agrees. So a few weeks later, when the policemen are found innocent and LA is on fire and the whole country is upside down, she's on TV, national TV. She's a white woman talking about racism. I didn't even know that was allowed. She's talking about where they put the garbage dumps and where they put the chemical plants. What's that got to do with racism? Now I know because I'm woken up. Once you're woken up, you know, but back then I didn't. Then she says something about a school nearby a factory, and suddenly I can't breathe because she's talking about here. She's not talking about someplace else. She's talking about here. And then she's talking about me. She doesn't say my name, but it's me. How in my ignorance, I compare the cry of racism to the cry of communism during the McCarthy era. Can you imagine? Somebody called you ignorant on national TV. It felt like all the curtains had come off my windows. Everybody could see inside. I was afraid to go out. I was afraid everybody's going to know it was me. I stayed awake the whole night, figuring out how to fix her wagon. But it turns out nobody I know was watching the news. They were all watching the last episode. The last episode of The Cosby Show. It was the same day. And back then, you had to catch it when it happened. There was no streaming. Oh, I bought one of her books, $24.95, which in today's money is like $1,000. It had stuff in it I never heard of, but so what? At that price, who's gonna buy it besides me? Oh, Alvin. I don't know if he bought it. Maybe he got it at the library, but when he saw it on my desk, we talked. Yeah, it was hard. I think it was the first time we looked at each other, right at each other's face. Neither one of us got the promotion that year. He got it the next year, but by then I wasn't mad anymore. He was a good boss, much better than the last one, Carol. Jeez. And the book? Well, I figured if somebody writes about problems in a book, then the people who can fix the problems fix them. And so I waited for them to paint and to fix the slummy places down here, and they never did. And then my aunt died, and I got sad, and I sort of looked away. I stopped paying attention so much. But now, you just have to look. No, I mean, I have to look. I guess you can never look away, but I shouldn't have, because everybody needs to look, because people are getting beaten up and shot, killed. So that's why I want to go on Saturday. Maybe not the whole march, because I don't know if there'll be bathrooms, but it's going to pass right by the apartment, so I could stand on the sidewalk. But then I thought, how would people know I'm woken up? Because it's hard to tell if somebody is white. You'd be surprised at how many white people aren't woken up. So I thought, if you went too, stood with me, and because you know, and then the people who didn't know would see you, and then they would know. So maybe we could make a sign, hold it together.